Here we go.
To the incident involving Secretary Austin. From your statements and those of Admiral Kirby, we learned today that President Biden expresses full faith and confidence in this cabinet officer, even though neither the president nor anyone else on his staff yet knows why Secretary Austin violated the existing rules and withheld this information. Is it the posture of the president that Secretary Austin's motivation is irrelevant to the president's estimation of him in this incident?
Is, and we have said this many times, is that Secretary Austin put out a statement taking full responsibility of what has unfolded over the last couple of days, and the president appreciates that. The Pentagon is going to do a full review. We're going to let that review happen. It's going to take about 30 days, as they stated in their memo, and also we're going to take extra steps here, as we've stated with the memo, as I've stated with the memo that the Chief of Staff sent out to agencies. Just
to follow on this before I pose an unrelated second question, the motivations on the part of the Secretary for doing this are unknown to the President. And you're telling us there's going to be a 30-day review, et cetera. Shouldn't the expression of full faith and confidence in this cabinet officer await the results of that investigation? And also, isn't it a key piece of information for the president to know why Secretary Austin did this before he expresses full faith and confidence in it?
I think one of the things that's so important, and we don't see this enough in today's world, is for someone to take responsibility. Is for someone to actually say, I made a mistake and I take full responsibility. And I think that's important here.
On this event Friday in Allentown, Pennsylvania, that you just disclosed to us, you've told us that it's going to be a speech about Bidenomics. How ought the so-called ordinary American at home to distinguish between official events and political events in this season? I've done this long enough to know that the president's remarks in Allentown on Friday are going to sound an awful lot like a campaign appearance. So what distinguishes an official event from a campaign event at this point?
I mean, we've been very clear. When there's been a campaign event, I've said it's a campaign event, and you have to go to the campaign, right, to get information. And usually a campaign event comes from the campaign. And so that's very clear. That is very clear.
You've given me suggests that the same event can transpire with exactly the same words and actions. Hang on, twice in a row, identically. But if one is organized by the White House, it's an official event, and if one is organized by the campaign, that's a campaign event.
So I want to be very clear here. What we're doing has been done by other presidents.
Well, these matches say you're lying.
When there's a re-election for a president, there tends to be a campaign event, and there tends to be an official event. That is not unusual. The way that we have moved forward with this process over the last couple of weeks, right, as we're in 2024, we're not doing anything different. We're not doing anything new. This is a protocol that has been existing for some time. So I'm just not going to get into go down a rabbit hole with you. We're not doing anything different. We're being very clear and following the protocol. I'm going to move around. I'm being pulled here.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Go ahead.
Tomorrow, House Republicans plan to hold an impeachment hearing against Mayorkas. What's the White House response to that?
Look, I've spoken to this many times, and I've said before, the House Republicans are playing political games instead of doing their jobs. That's what they're doing, and it's really shameful. It's really shameful that this is how they choose to what they choose to focus on. Truly, what the American people want to see is Congress to deliver, and House Republicans continue to do these political stunts, and they want to play political games. And so it is shameful. What we want to see, what Americans want to see, is real results to the issues that American people have across the country.
They'll be now living with her after this.
Any more details you can provide on the sticking points right now in the border talks? Parole has been mentioned by negotiators.
No, I totally get the question. Not going to get ahead of the negotiators. I'm going to let them have those conversations. Obviously, if I say anything, then I'm stepping into their process, and we don't want to do that. It is what we have said is we believe that process is headed in the right direction, and we appreciate that both Republicans and Democrats are coming together and trying to find a solution to what we see at the border. And the president has always said we need to see a bipartisan agreement on an issue that has existed for decades.
Oh my God.